Hello Blitz fans of all ages, it's me PlumCastle, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down the coming soon trailer that Wargaming released yesterday for the 10.1 update. And I'm going to say right now this update looks like it's going to be extremely packed, and there is even the possibility that we will be getting a Sheridan Missile event very soon, but more on that in just a minute. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and just get into this. So again, very packed, and the first thing that we're going to see here is, if I rewind a little bit, this tank here. Now, this is the regressor. This is something that we already know about, but I think the reason that they're showing you this is because either it could be something in your garage, or the more likely thing, because the Retrotopia event, which the regressor is a part of, is such a big thing, a lot of these events in here are going to help you along with this event as well. And we're actually going to see that with the first event right here, which looks to me like a 4th of July event, just given how it looks with the fireworks and the colors. First 4 levels, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, nothing really too special. Some kit coins, which I'll calculate in a second. Credits, 10 gold boosters, which is pretty cool, and this key, which we'll take a look at in just a minute. So as for the kit coins, these are part of the Retrotopia event, like I said. So these will help you to get through various levels of that particular event. So 275 plus 275 should be like 550, plus 550 would give you about 1,100 kit coins if I did that quick calculation correctly. Now, as for how to get through this, we have to collect these, I suppose they're fireworks, so you have to collect those. As for whether or not I think this event is going to be free to play, I think that it will be. Of course, I can't know for sure, but generally speaking, the 4th of July event is free to play. It's usually about 10 levels like this, and it's not too complicated, as you can see. In all likelihood, it's probably going to be one of those events where we have like 10 days to get various victories to get these fireworks and then to get all the rewards. But again, that's just speculation at this point. At the end here, you can see we have that key, which I said we would talk about, so it kind of leads into the next part here. So I'm not familiar with this tank per se, but I believe what they're actually showcasing here is the camouflage, as you can see here. So I think this is a 4th of July camouflage, just based on the fact that we have red, white, and blue colors on it. Seems kind of 4th of July-esque. And real quick, we're going to be talking about some various numbers that are going to be shown throughout the video, and I believe this is the first one here, 30. But I will come back to this when the time is right. So moving past here and back to the event, we have this box. Now I believe that the reason that they were showing that camo just now is I believe that this box is a camouflage container. I don't know if something else will be in there. I don't know if maybe there's going to be multiple camos or what, but it does, just based on the look, seem like it's probably going to be a camouflage container. And as you can see by the little infinite mark, that you can actually get this an unlimited number of times. And as for getting the box, it's going to require that key. So unlimited number of keys, depending on how many wins you get, I suppose. And then, of course, an unlimited number of boxes, likely for a camouflage. But moving forward on to the next thing that we have here, we have this car. So, I mean, it's nothing too fancy. It's definitely one of those garage items. In fact, you can even see the regressor that we saw over there earlier. Now, there's like literally no information on this other than the fact that it's going to exist. So I don't know if it's going to be part of a store bundle, an event, or maybe even like an order like we did with that, what was it, the soccer event I suppose we had. Either way, it's probably going to come in some way, shape, or form, but it's a little bit hard to tell the exact way it will be coming yet. Beyond that, we have a new tech tree line. So this, I'm going to go ahead and hit play. They're blanking out the tier 6 through the tier 9, but they are showing the tier 10, that being this CS63. Now, I don't know if this tank line is going to be releasing exactly in the next update, but it does seem that it will be coming in the near future at least. And that's going to be about 5 tanks, because tier 6 to tier 10, which is pretty cool. CS63 is a Polish medium, and I don't know much about the stats on it, but here's a quick look at it. Basically, I think the thing that Wargaming was like teasing about it was that it had good mobility and good armor, something like that, but I'm not entirely sure. But beyond that, we also have a giant showcase of camouflages here. I believe that's a Centurion. That's a TVP, I believe. This looks like the Progetto, the Tier 10 Progetto, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. That looks like the Patton, and that's a Patton driving backwards. I'm not really sure what the point of that is. And in fact, there's actually so many camouflages that they couldn't even show them all at once. So this is a camouflage that I don't know the name of it for the, the AMX 50B. Looks fairly interesting. I'm not sure it's like all that realistic per se, but it does definitely look pretty cool. And as well, this other camouflage, which I believe that is the IS-3. Now, the IS-3 does have the bear camouflage, which honestly, if I was to compare these two, I would probably say the bear camouflage is a little bit more interesting. But this is definitely a unique thing and definitely kind of ties within the kind of vibe that Wargaming's going with this futuristic event type stuff. Moving on past that, though, we actually have this. Now, I am not entirely sure what this is. Now, looking at it, my gut instinct tells me that this is probably a tank destroyer and that it is probably American. And there's actually two reasons for that. One, because 4th of July is coming up, but also generally speaking, without a camouflage on, the American tanks tend to have this muddy tan color. Now, I'm going to give some pure speculation. My thinking here is that this might be a Tier 8 premium tank destroyer that is American that will come in crates sometime around 4th of July. Again, all speculation, it's kind of hard to tell, but it wouldn't surprise me if all that shakes down to be quite like that, because the T-77 was basically the equivalent of that last year, I believe. But either way, interesting looking tank, I suppose. Armor-wise, given that it's round, it's actually probably not going to have the most fantastic armor on the front, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Moving past that, however, we can see that, this is the PVR showcase or the HD tank showcase. I believe this is a Hago, and it's probably a Tier 1. I'm not very familiar with those tiers, but either way, adding graphics, and what Wargaming likes to do is they like to add good graphics to more than just the higher tier tanks, which is understandable, but that of course is not the only tank. The Smasher apparently is getting PVR because not only does the Smasher have to be OP in how it plays, but it also has to be OP in how it looks. Honestly, I do think it looks pretty cool, and honestly, I still wish I had the Smasher just for fun, but maybe at some point in the future. Now, remember what I said earlier about the number 30 there? So if we scroll back a little bit to about, I'd say, just a little bit ahead of here. So you saw this 30. And it was a number. We are also seeing a number right next to the Smasher here. If I fast forward to about here, there's the number 5 on the wall. And we're going to see more numbers like this, and I will give my prediction at the end as to what those might be. But keep in mind that I will be pointing out these numbers as I go through the video. Another tank that is receiving PBR is going to be the AT-15. Now, the AT-15, I believe, is a Tier 7. I think it's a Tier 7 premium tank. I'm not sure. I don't really play this type of tank. It's not exactly my favorite playstyle. Either way, pretty cool that it is getting PBR nonetheless. And then the last tank getting PBR here is, as soon as it moves forward a little bit, is going to be the T-26E4, I believe is what it is. I think this is a Tier 8 premium tank, though I'm not sure. It's definitely not a tech tree, at least not to my recollection. And then here we have all the tanks lined up, and these are going to be the tanks that are going to be receiving PBR, and that Hago literally gets covered. But of course, of all of these, I think the coolest one's probably the Smasher. But either way, pretty cool that that is coming into the game. And then after that, we have another event. So taking a look at this, we see similar stuff. It's obviously kind of like a summer-based event, given the overall mood. More boosters and such, 820 kit coins, which is pretty cool, again, getting you further. A camouflage, which they will show in a second. Some boosters, more gold boosters, so about 20 gold boosters, which is really cool. Five times multipliers, which is pretty cool. I believe that's a collectible container, an avatar, and the thing that you probably noticed that I skipped over just a second ago, this Scavenger. This is a Tier 5 collector tank from Halloween several years past, I believe. Now, if we see how this event works, you're going to see we're going to have two currencies, those being the lime water and the sunglasses. Now, there are two different currencies, and you can see that each level kind of has a different amount of each one. So lime, 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 and such. It's a little bit hard to tell whether or not this will be free to play. Looking at this, I think there's a possibility it could be, but given that there are two different currencies, that could be like a free to play aspect and a pay to win aspect, so it's a little bit hard to tell. Given the rewards in here, though, it wouldn't surprise me if it was free to play, because generally speaking, if an event is going to be pay to win, you usually get something a little bit fancier than a tier 5. But again, that's just speculation, so it is a little bit hard to tell. But moving on to the next thing here, we can see the camouflage from earlier. It's got a wispy blue look to it. And moving beyond that, we're going to see yet another number that got covered up by an avatar. So this is the number 14. So we're going to be coming back to these numbers and giving a little bit of a speculation on them. But yeah, interesting that they're showing yet another one of these numbers. So that's also the avatar from the previous event, I believe. Gravity Force. So this is on, of course, oh, I forget. It was, I've literally forgotten the name of the map, but it's the moon map. And if we continue forward, we can see that it's very clearly Gravity Force. But if you, oh, Sea of Tranquility, there's the name. And there again, we have another number. This time it is 19. So it's very interesting with these numbers, and we'll just have to come back to those. So beyond Gravity Force, there also appears to be this mishmash. You know what? Let me just go ahead and show you, because it's going to be a little bit clearer. So that's very much, the jumping up is very much a Gravity Force thing, but all the rest of this is kind of everything else. Like you can see there, that's the ability that makes your tank dead for a little bit. So it appears that Wargaming is taking possibly even all of their various modes and just mushing them into one. Not really sure why, and I'm not really sure this is going to feel any more unique than normal. But it's a new mode, it'll be interesting. Not sure the name of it, but it looks like it will be pretty hectic to say the least, as you can see here. Because again, when you combine abilities with jumping up, it can be very interesting. But now we get into the juicy part of the video, and that is the Sheridan Missile. So this is very clearly a Sheridan Missile, and if we actually go ahead and hit play again, we can actually see when it zooms in, there is this event icon. So this does seem to prove what Wargaming has said earlier in their Discord server, that an actual event would be coming into the game. And it does appear that it is going to be an actual event as opposed to a Discord challenge like it was before. Now, I really highly doubt that 42 days and 22 hours is really how long this event is going to last. But if we think about that, that would, if we were to put it forward and give the event, say, 8 days or so, or 8 to 10 days, it would put it around the 25th of next month, which is probably around where it would be. But again, this is just speculation based on some random arbitrary number that was in the game. Moving forward past this, though, we have a bunch of the tanks, I believe, showcasing the camo again. Again, there's another number back there, 27. Moving forward, though, we're going to come into a rating event as soon as it pops up here. So basically, if you play ratings, this is going to be pretty straightforward. Basically, depending on your league, you're going to get more of these emblems for your victories, which is then going to allow you to progress through this event. So things like credits, free XP, more credits, free XP, some kit coins, which I'll calculate in a second, camouflage, an attachment, and a rating container. I don't remember what's in the rating container, but either way, it looks like it could be a little bit of a grind to get there. But coming back to the kit coins, so we've got 150 and then 275 and 395, which I believe should put us just shy of about 800 if I'm thinking that correctly. Because if you take the 5 over, that becomes 400, so that'd be 670. So 670, so yeah, about 790 or something like that. It's a lot of kit coins yet again, and they're going to showcase this attachment along with the special diamond camouflage. Now, as cool as this is, I always have to laugh a little bit, because if somebody actually did manage to get the diamond camouflage and the diamond attachment on the same tank and even have the diamond avatar, that would literally be like a giant poster board saying, target me because I'm good at the game, because I think that's just kind of funny. I mean, it does look cool, don't get me wrong, but I would say strategically, I almost think that there could be a slight disadvantage to that, but maybe not. I've never really noticed a difference based on what I've seen other people do, but still, interesting and definitely looks really, really cool. So now I believe that takes us to here, which is another garage placement item. It looks like a Mars rover or moon rover, either one. And then you can see we have yet more numbers, 1 through 31. Now that gives me a hint as to what the previous numbers could be indicating. They could be days of a month, because if we go back and look, you will notice that they were all within about that time span. So if we come back to the beginning, or not quite to the beginning, a little bit past here. So we had this event, and then from there we saw that this number 30. So this is making me think that this particular event may start around the 30th of this month. Again, speculation, but perhaps. If we move forward again to where we saw the smasher right about here, I would say right here. We had the smasher and it had a 5. Now what the 5 could mean could potentially be one of two things. It could potentially be the date of the release for update 10.1, given that this is a PBR showcase, which can only happen in the next update. But the other thing could be that the smasher may come into crates on the 5th of next month. But again, speculation, it's a little bit hard to tell. This is kind of an arbitrary number on a very arbitrary thing, but it is definitely something to keep in the back of your mind as to what this number could possibly mean. Again, we had this event, and then if we scoot forward a little bit, we can see that we had the event, and then right afterward, we saw the number 14 sitting on this rock, so maybe the 14th of next month. Again, we can come forward again to right here where I had the 19. Perhaps Gravity Force comes out on the 19th, or perhaps it'll launch into a series of game modes on the 19th of next month. Moving forward again to the Sheridan Missile, we had the Sheridan Missile event, and based on the number, I estimated around the 25th of the next month, which if we take a look there, the number was 27, which is actually very close to that time. So maybe it'll come out on the 27th of next month. Again, all speculation, but who knows? Who knows what Wargaming has planned? And then, of course, if we come right back to the end where we were pretty much just a second ago, we are going to see that 1 through 31st. So the bulk of this stuff is probably going to happen through the 1st through the 31st of next month, which is why I think those numbers are dates. Again, pure speculation, so feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think these numbers could mean. But based on the information in this video, that's the best idea I have. And with that, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. So yeah, definitely a very content-packed update once again. Definitely following strong after update 10.0. But anyway, with all of that said, I hope y'all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.